Hey, happy day. Let's talk about the expression little pitchers have big ears. Now, Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma. Totally, I guess I've understood the meaning of this expression before, but I've never used this expression, little pitchers have big ears. I don't think I've ever even heard it. But it's an ancient expression that comes from pitchers not having anything to do with baseball or softball or any ball games whatsoever. It has to do with actual pitchers, like for carrying liquids and pouring things. Back in ancient times, pitchers had two handles. So like this cup, instead of having just one, it would have two handles, and pitchers were used to pour things. Well, these pitchers, somebody must have looked at them once and said, hey, they look like ears. So the expression little pitchers have big ears was used to describe pitchers being young children, and big ears meaning that they could not only hear, but understand way more than adults would often give them credit for. Now, I've always known that children could understand and hear a whole lot more than we adults ever give them credit for. Learned that when my kids were little, that they would come up and say things that you're like, oh, I wonder where they heard that, and then you're like, oh my God, my husband and I were talking about that, and they overheard that conversation, and they actually understood it and were asking me questions about it. I get that a lot with my 4-year-old granddaughter. I hang out with her a lot these days, and it's amazing, her vocabulary. Even since she just started talking, I guess probably around 2 or 3, she would use words and use them properly in sentences, and it's like, where does the kid get this? Where does she come up with these things? So they don't just pop out of her imagination. She must have heard them somewhere and assimilated them and be using them, because we're not born with this huge vocabulary. We have to keep this in mind. What does this have to do with growing and building our business? Well, keep in mind that our customers, our employees, our vendors, our partners, our co-workers, whatever situation you're in, they hear and sense all kinds of things that we might not give them credit for. I remember working in corporate America, and there's always that one manager wherever I work that thought he or she was better than everybody else, and better than the people on her or his team, better than our employees, better than our customers, better than everybody else. And they would inevitably get caught in talking about somebody and embarrassed by that, because they'd be saying something and it would get back to the person if the person wasn't standing behind them and didn't hear them. And they would get embarrassed because they were talking in a derogatory manner about either their people that reported to them, or other managers, or the customers. God forbid, the customers. If you speak in a derogatory way, if you don't feel good about your customers, that will get out. In this day and age of social media, if you don't love your customers, find different customers, because you have to love and care about the people that you serve, or they will, number one, it'll get back to them. They'll hear, because they do have big ears. Social media is just like big giant ears nowadays. It's not like when I was younger and there were no cell phones. I mean, cell phones with the cameras and things can capture absolutely everything. You look at all the CEOs and things that are being caught saying things or doing things that are inappropriate, and they're losing everything overnight. And not just CEOs, sports celebrities, influencers, because they don't realize that little pitchers have big ears. I guess this whole expression, now that I'm talking about it, could be taken from children having big ears to the world and social media and our customers and everybody else having big ears. And that, treat people the way you want to be treated, and you probably aren't going to have a problem with it. But if, I guess, let me take that back, because if you are an entitled jerk who treats people, who wants to be treated like a god or goddess, I don't know that those are the people that you want to treat people like that, and they want to be treated like that. I don't know, maybe you do, maybe that's your customer base. So interesting idiom that I really had never heard before, understood the concept, but never actually heard this expression. But like all other expressions that have been around for hundreds of years, they have an impact, maybe not on me directly, but on the people that I interact with, on the other human beings, because if we're in business, we're dealing with other human beings, right? It has an impact on them. And I can look at it and I can say, well, what does this mean? What could this mean? How can I take this thing that's sort of usually seen as a negative, thinking, oh my God, people are going to overhear something negative, how can I turn that around and turn it into a positive to actually grow and build my business? Well, how about if you let your employees and your customers and the people that your vendors and people you work with overhear you saying good things about them? What if you spread good feedback and good messages and testimonials all over social media about the people that you love and care about working with, the people that you enjoy, the people that do a good job for you? You know, spread the joy, spread the love, spread the positive energy about people instead of, and let social media and big ears hear those positive things, because guess what? Those will spread just as fast and just as wide as any negative things that you could possibly say or do. So let's use little pitchers having big ears in our favor to grow and supersize and build our business, instead of in negative ways that could harm us and actually put us out of business. That's it. If you have any examples or ideas on how this expression could be put to work in your business and in your life, share them in the comments below so we can all learn together. If you have any questions or anything I can help you with, hit me up in the comments below or direct message me, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, also known as Pajama Grandma. I know, weird, but it works for me. It helps me to filter the people that I want to love and serve and work with, and keep those people that are maybe entitled A-type people out of my life. Go out, have an amazing day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. And I know it seems like a kind of a weird way to grow and supersize your business, but the whole point is to expand your mind, to think outside the box, to look at things differently, because when you look at things differently, the things you look at change. Take care. Catch you tomorrow.